What is going on, YouTube? Zero Lead here, back again with a new video, episode 32 of the Disco Era U.S.S. Enterprise tutorial. Just want to thank you very much for tuning into today's video. If you haven't, please don't forget to hit that like and subscribe button, helping me in supporting the channel. Definitely appreciate all the comments, subscriptions, and likes that I get on the channel. And we got some really cool stuff to work on today. We're going to be continuing our work on this panel that we're adding behind our bridge. Needs a little bit of love. We're not quite there yet. It looks pretty good, especially from this angle. It was like I was saying in episode 31. I mean, you could technically leave this just the way it is, and it looks great. It really does. I mean, we need to add in some blocks to get detailing in, but the shapes are all there. But I don't know. I feel like this needs a little bit more work here. So that's just kind of what we're going to be focusing on today. We're going to be editing some stuff, adding some layers, deleting some layers here, but we're not really going to be changing this design too much drastically, just, editing. So on the last bend, I'm just making this thing wider, going all the way down. I'm going to do this on both sides, and then we're going to have a cut at the back, just deleting the very last block, just to give that impression that there's a cut there, and delete that one. Perfect. And now we're going to bring a line going all the way down, but for some reason it's just not cooperating. I'm going to have to do these individually. It's not letting me spam it. Because what I think is part of the problem is that you're not really seeing this panel too much from the sides. Because of the thickness of it when you get down to the last layer of it, I feel like it's kind of getting lost, sort of say. So it's kind of zooming out, see how it looks. This blending could be done a little bit better around in here. I think that's where we're going to have to do a little work too. Because, I mean, from this angle, it doesn't look bad, but from where the angle that we were just at, gotta be honest, I wasn't really feeling that. So we're on the last cut up. Let's delete this block going all the way down. I'm going to delete one more to make this 3 long. If we have to delete this last one right here, we will. Okay. Get rid of those. All right. So right in there, that block, because like where I had this cut going in here, the last one, I kind of had to delete that, but we'll get back to that in just a second. Pretty much just trying to change the pattern here to kind of go a little bit better with what I have with the bridge, with the pattern of 3. I know that this is open in the middle, but I'm just trying to look at the sides and seeing how it's blending in right now from the side. And seeing if what we're doing is making it look any better or if it's making it look worse. Not a super long video today. I think we're just clocking in just over a half hour. Definitely got some stuff to do. We're going to be taking some time to focus on this area back here to try to get this right. You know, like I said, this can be I believe it's a three-part um, episode just to get this back panel right behind the bridge. But it's going to be worth it because when you take the time to get these parts of the ship that you're having a hard time with, this is just one of the many layers that's going to help to bring your ship to life. Now, ooh, I like that line that I just added there, but I think we're going to have to make that blend a little bit better. We're starting to get somewhere. Now, the part of the problem too is that I don't have a more prominent backbone in the very middle of it. And we're not going to be able to really get into that until episode 3. But what I'm going to do now, because I have my phone out and I'm looking at that, but it's not really helping me too much in the moment. I need to see this thing side by side with my ship. And that's just kind of where I'm at right now. We're going to do a little bit building that way. There's a couple of times I do this in this tutorial series, and usually don't need to do this, but with something like this, it just needs it. So right now I'm just kind of checking it out, trying to figure out what I want to do here. I like the front curve. It has the right curve. It's pretty good. But the back here, it's kind of what we're struggling with right now. And unfortunately, the only thing you can really do is just sit here and look at the thing until you can figure out a solution in your head that might work. Um, if you're in this spot, you're not sure what to do, step away from it because, like I tell you, if you don't have an idea in your head, I can tell you that you're more likely to mess it up more. So, in that case, if you're not sure what you want to do and you're just gonna, do some experimental building, make an extra save file, and then go into that save file and do it. So this way, if you mess up what you have, you can just revert to what you had before, and it won't be that big of a deal. So I'm kind of messing with these lines up here, seeing if I want to have like a backbone that wide, but it's really not that wide at all. It's kind of like narrow in the middle. Um, hmm. And you can see I'm just going too wide, and I'm going to bring this almost all the way down, I think, if not all the way. So I'm trying to mess with this backbone in the very middle of it, because that's going to help to bring it together, because that is one of the key things that is missing right now. I'm not building it all the way down, so I'm not committed to this yet. Just kind of experimenting to see if this is going to work or not. Doesn't look too bad. Excuse me. but I don't think we're quite there yet. I have to add these individually. Let's bring this all the way down. I'll leave one open. And that's not another horrible way of doing it, but what's kind of messing this up now is this line here, right here. But if we get rid of that, then the problem is then it's going to be too thin down the sides right here, and then you're going to lose seeing this as you zoom out. So to fix that, we're going to make this a little bit thicker towards the top. Really just adding another layer, going with our pattern. Let's not go all the way down right now. So I just want to kind of zoom out and check that out. So like I said, I wish that I could have condensed this down all into one episode, but just the manner of this, and you can see that I'm just subtly adding a piece here, adding a piece there, deleting a piece here, deleting a piece there. I wish I could have condensed all this down into one video. It would have saved a little bit of time, but you know, again, this makes it, makes the ship stand out. I do know one thing, that middle there, I think that I'm towards the top I made it too wide, so we're gonna get rid of that just so this way it's 2. That looks better. But see, it's definitely looking a lot better than it was from the side than what I had before. We're definitely starting to move in the right direction. Still not there yet. We still have another video of work to do before we're going to be able to say that this is passable. We're getting close. Right now, I just want to pull up my screenshots here. Take a look at this thing more from the rear. Let's see, from the backside, you can look at this thing again. Just there's almost no line there. It looks like that's blended in completely, and just it's a different shade of gray on the hull. And then from here, looks more like a curve. That a little bit bigger. Close that out. Get that out of here. All right. So this is a good gauge right here to look at what I'm trying to achieve here. So you can see this line right here is this line right here. Now, there's not a heck of a lot that we can do about some of these blocks here because on this, it's just, a clear curve. But in Minecraft, of course, you can't do it that way, but we're trying to get as close to that as possible. But we're going to have to take some type of liberties here and there. Hmm. Trying to decide if I want to make it thicker or not. We're going to get rid of the white concrete on both sides right there in the very back because I want it to look like right there that the impulse engines are coming in a little bit more. So we're going to replace that with the darker gray. I'm probably going to have to go in here, here, and here and do that as well. Yeah, that definitely looks better. Let's change it on the right side. Let's zoom out and take a look. Let's do that top one too. Yeah, just so there's a clear line there. You're doing the left. Okay. Oh yeah, that looks actually way better now. As you look here, it definitely has kind of like a lip there, on the sides and go along the back. So you want to, try to replicate that a little bit. I think that looks good. I'm just kind of messing around to see how this is going to look. Hmm. This middle part in here almost is kind of like a darker gray, and then parts in here, but there's not much that we can do about that because the other half slabs that come in the different colors of gray is so different from the white um, that I didn't even want to use it just because it just kind of stands out and not in a good looking way. You see, I'm just kind of shaving away a little bit on the top here because I'm trying to think here maybe at the very top, maybe it's just a little bit too thick up there, and I might need to change this to the white quartz. So this way it will blend in a little bit better. Because this dark gray ring here, don't necessarily worry about that because once this is all said and done, you're not going to really see it. I think I do add it back in, but I don't believe once this is finished that line is really necessary. Yes, I'm kind of chickening out at this point over what I just did. I'm not so confident in deleting all that and changing it is the right way to go. So we're going to change this back. Just want to double check and make sure you're always deleting the same thing. If you do one thing on one side, do it on the other, just so both your sides are right. Remember, I said this in the very first episode. When you build these ships out, with the exception like maybe one or two designs, both the left and right side of the ships are going to be the same. So in technicality, you're only building half your ship, but then you're repeating that process again on the other side. So it's very important just, to stay consistent. You delete one thing on one side, do it on the other. Yeah, that block there was sticking out a little bit to me. So get rid of that and then fill that in. All right, let's check that out. I mean, it's definitely kind of starting to get the shape that we want. So we're still another video away before this thing's going to be done. We're making some progress. We got about 10 minutes left in this episode to see how much we can get done. But this part of the ship, I tell you, is tricky. It is always tricky for me. I had a heck of a time when I did this on the Enterprise A from Star Trek Beyond. But if I recall from the two builds, I don't think this one was as bad compared to the two. I think I spent more time on the Enterprise A from Star Trek Beyond on this part of the ship than I did on the Disco Enterprise. It was very weird with this build. There are very few things I got stuck up on. This was one of them. It just held me up for a couple episodes, but nothing too bad. But I mean, it'll happen. Let's change that a little bit. And now I think I'm going to change that to the white quartz. Maybe. I don't know. I think I try to keep that black line there for a while, but I'm pretty certain that I get rid of that after a while. These little cuts in here, you're going to want to make these a darker gray. Don't fill those in with white because you're going to want to make them a different color just so that line pops a little bit more. Let's take a look at that. Hmm. Doesn't look bad. And let's delete this on the sides here, going back. We're gonna do this on both sides. And get rid of this bigger block here. So we're taking 2 off the very last cut down, taking 2 rows off. For this side, we're on the last cut down, and then we're going to delete these last 2 rows. Minecraft, stop being difficult and work with me. There we go. The large block, we're literally just moving that in by 1. We're going to go back with a half slab and blend that in a little bit better. And let's do the same thing on the left side of the ship. This part right here is tripping me up, this whole part. I mean, we had the basic shell of what we need, but we're not quite there just yet. And I'm just going to be deleting these darker gray blocks in the very middle, or placement backbone that we started with. Do that going almost all the way back, or replace that with the half slabs. About 4 minutes left. Let's replace that last part with the white. Okay. Get rid of those corners. Do that on both sides. We have to put a darker gray block underneath those. It's looking a little bit better. We're getting there. So we're still about 1 video away from finishing this thing off. You wouldn't think that a simple thing like this would be such a pain in the butt to do on the ship, but just because of the angle and shape that it is. It's so hard to do in Minecraft with the blocks. All right, yeah. Now we're gonna get rid of this dark gray line going across. Let's get rid of it. We don't need it. There's no purpose for it to be here, and that line is definitely not on this part of the ship. I think for right now I had the white in the center for those, but eventually I'm going to swap that out with the gray because it looks better with the gray. Just in those little cuts in there, because you want to kind of keep this shape right around here and make that stick out. Alright, and let's slim down our backbone a little bit. It's a little bit too wide, I think. Alright, let's close up the right side. Just keeping with our pattern. One last part to close on. Definitely looks better skinnier. And definitely during this episode, if I don't get into something enough, or if you're confused or you get stuck, definitely drop a comment below. I'm usually pretty responsive in the comments section, and I'll try to help you out. If I don't get to your answer in the comments, I'll probably answer it in a video. But we're making some progress here. I mean, from the sides it doesn't look bad, but when you start to zoom out and look at this thing from the top, I think is kind of what's messing it up a little bit. But we're getting there. But anyway, I think that's going to wrap up episode 32. We got pretty far. We still got one more episode to go with this portion of the ship, and then we're going to be moving on to other things. But really hope that everybody enjoyed this episode as much as I enjoyed making it and this whole series. And if you haven't, please don't forget to hit that like and subscribe button and helping me in supporting the channel. I can't tell you how much I appreciate that. And don't forget to tune in tomorrow for episode 33. There's still plenty of episodes to come in this series, and you can always check back Monday through Saturday for new episodes. The only day I don't have new episodes is on Sundays. Anyway, that's going to do it for me, and I will catch everybody on the next episode.